This is the MIDI workstation view video. And you can open up the MIDI workstation program by going up to View and hitting the MIDI Workshop button there. You can also go right up here to the multi-track and select it from there too. So let's go over here, open it up again, and here we have the MIDI Workshop main window. And to move this window around, I mean, you can resize it going that way and from the sides here, but to move the actual whole window, you have to grab in this wood area where it looks like wood, and then you can move it. Okay, now let's go up to look at some of these menus. We've got the Open MIDI Workshop session file, you know, your general stuff, very similar to the menus up here that SAW Studio keeps everything pretty much the same in all the different views, import, blend, export. Here your F key file, and this is an important thing right here. Link to SAW F keys, and keep this link working. You know, make sure that's operational by clicking on it. This way you can set up your views in SAW Studio with the SAW Studio F key views that you set up, and if you open up a MIDI Workshop view and put it in there along with the multi-track view, say like this view, this works because I have that link working. I have to open this up again. I didn't save that view. Okay, so have that view going if you want to make life easy on yourself. Here's your preference file. Preferences, save your preferences, and then of course close. Modify, you can modify, you know, choose different modifications from these menus. They're very self-explanatory. Your view, there's 3 views in MIDI Workstation. This being the #1 view, the main window, the multi-track window, and the patch library window. We'll get to those in a second. Here's your display menu where you can display the color mode and the note scale, major, minor, and the options menu where you can set up your devices and your patch in INI files, that database, instrument patch setup, and you have this auto solo and auto mute selection. And info, you have your all-important help contents. So if you need the help contents for MIDI Workstation, you have to open up MIDI Workstation, go to info, and open up help contents. It's not going to be up here. This is for the SAW Studio program. This is for the add-on MIDI Workstation program right here. Okay, let's open up the patch library first, because I want to. This window is very important, and what this window does, it allows you to set this window up so that anytime you click on one of these links here, it's gonna select that sound and say your synthesizer or your tone generator. And I have a Yamaha S80, and I have my patch library all configured to select every single sound that my synthesizer has. I can have it select sounds that I make or whatever. It will select sounds on my plug-in cards and everything. It's really pretty cool. And of course, you click this button here and it shows all the devices. So if I had 10 keyboards here, I could set them all up in the patch library, and I could say, okay, if I had them all hooked up to the computer, I just go and, you know, click on my DX7 or wherever, you know, you get the picture. Here you have groups. Different groups have different, if you set them up, I have pianos, and I have a couple drum presets, drum kits, so all I have to do is double click on that, and the hard rock kit is now on my keyboard, and I can hit the keys and make the sounds and get myself a drum beat. You can assign groups, and this patch library group window opens up. And how I would do that is, let's go here to, I'll show you how to do that. All patches. Now, I'm going to add this difference piano sound here to my piano presets or group, and I select that and I click update. Now if I wanted to add that piano to my pianos and keyboards and organs, if I have all those selected and press update, it's going to go into all those groups. I just want and if I right click it, it deselects them. And of course, now if I go to pianos, there's the difference. It's added in there. Pretty simple, easy. Now you have this bin button, and what this does is, say I have I'm doing a song and I have 5 instruments in this one song in my Midi workshop. I can go and select those sounds, and add them to the bin. Okay, add current patch to the bin, and say I'm using the drums, I'm using the funk kit. I'm going to add that to the bin, and then I can just go right here. I can lock the bin so it doesn't change, and I also can display the bin. And here's all the things I'm using in this session right there. So you can group it a million different ways. The patch library shows you how many active patches you have in that view. Here's clicked the wrong thing. All patches, 843 in this, and of course Stereo Grand. If I click on it, it shows you which one's active right here. And of course, this is the device. This is the patch, Stereo Grand, the device, program, I guess number and bank number. So that's it for the patch library window, and it's very important that you watch the patch init file, INI file setup video, and in that video I show you how to set up the patch library and to communicate with your various synthesizers. Very important window, makes life convenient. Okay, let's go to the multi-track view, and here's the multi-track view, and you can make this, you can drag it and make it bigger, just like the multi-track in the SAW Studio. I can use the page up and page down to make it bigger. And here we have one track. That's pretty easy. And okay, let's look at some of the stuff. Where are all the buttons and how to get around in this view? Here's your keyboard. If you have stuff set up, you press that and you'll get your sounds. Pretty neat. Okay, over here you have your track locator, hot points there. You get 128 tracks. Next you have your stop, play, and record. Here you have your select mode, and if you select that, you see the cursor changes just like up in the SAW Studio multi-track. And you can use your S key on your keyboard. Okay, next you have the grid / quantize note zone, and you can click on that and you can select the note durations that are used for the snap to grid option and for all other quantize operations right there. Okay, here you have the snap to grid option, and you can use the G key on the keyboard. Okay, next we have the step record, and if you click on that, the mouse changes and you can do your step record. And here you have your step draw mode. See how the mouse changes, where you can step draw all your notes in. It's all pretty standard MIDI stuff. Okay, next you have your tempo readout display. You'll see there's two little the triangles there. Well, if I click on this side, you'll see I can left click and go up, or I can go down, just like that. Pretty easy. And of course it displays what the tempo is set at. And the metronome is this is the metronome zone, and what does that do? Well, it's where you can have options to select that deal with the tempo. They're all right there in the metronome zone. You can default tempo, you can click on that and it will change that. Another way to change it. Next, you have your time signature readout display. You click on that and you can change the time signature. And there's another options in there. Set new time signature and clear. Pretty easy to understand. Next you have your Midi through option. If you right click that when it's active, or when it's not active, you can select the port. Here you have your Midi, your auto mute and your Midi mute. Straightforward, easy to understand. Here you have your